And welcome back to the Minot State Dome on the campus of Minot State University in the beautiful Magic City for our second semifinal matchup tonight of the North Dakota Class A boys basketball tournament. The Grand Forks Central Knights, champions of the EDC, taking on Mandan under the coaching of Greg Lemke. Dan Michaels back with Dan Viens, Dennis Wyman, and John Haggerty, our whole Meyer broadcasting crew, getting ready for our second semifinal game tonight. Let's take a look, Dan, right away at some of our key matchups here this evening. First of all, for Grand Forks Central, we're highlighting Tremaine Davis tonight, and the reason we're going to do that is because he's got to go up against Scott Tom, the man in the middle who played so well in that triple overtime win last night against Devils Lake. Tremaine, second on the team in free throw percentage, but most importantly, leading the team in rebounds with 6.5 average. He's going to have to really step that up tonight against Scott Tom.
And one of the leaders for the Mandan Braves, and really the guy that makes them go emotionally as well, Eric Schmidt, one of their leading scorers, leads them in assists as well. He's a forward, but he will handle the basketball as a point forward, but he is also their very best defensive player. Just shut down Devils Lake's Justin Johnson yesterday, who was averaging 23 points a game. And tonight, Mandan looks to play a little bit of zone, but if they go man, he will match up with Joe Ford.
So we've got another great matchup, and quickly, let's go to our experts on the floor, John Haggerty and Dennis Wyman, and see what they think about this matchup.
Well, of course, one of the big things is going to be, will Mandan have any legs after that triple overtime game? They won that game in triple overtime over Devils Lake without two of their main players, Eric Schmidt and Mike Out, fouled out in that game. So they want to play with a little more composure and be in the game tonight.
Yeah, and I think for Central, the job is easy. They come in hot with a 9-game winning streak. They were the EDC regular season champ. They were the postseason champ. They just got to play their game and dictate the tempo, and I think they'll be all right.
Mandan, really a Cinderella story, the 6th seed going into the West region. And of course, if they win tonight, they'll have a 500 record and advance to the state title. Let's go back to you guys.
Okay, let's get into our starting lineups for tonight's game, brought to you by the new Dodge and your friendly Dodge dealer. Let's start out with the Grand Forks Central Knights. At one guard, 5'10 junior, Mr. Greg Mass. These are some great athletes, by the way. At one guard, Brooks Bollinger, 6'2 sophomore, wears number 20. At a forward, great athlete, Joe Ford, 6'3 senior. The other forward's going to be Mark Holverson, a 6'1 junior. And the man in the middle, the guy that we just highlighted, Tremaine Davis, a 6'4 senior center. He's got to have a great game against Tom tonight. Of course, Central coached by Todd Olson.
Meanwhile, for the Mandan Braves, 11-12 on the season entering tonight. At point guard, Chad Kincaid, the 5'11 senior. At the other guard, Sam Pullis, 28 points last night. Some big shots in the overtimes. He carried them. Player of the game a night ago. Scott Tom, the man in the middle, the best athlete on the team for the Mandan Braves at 6'3 and a great jumper. And then the pair of forwards, Eric Schmidt, he'll do the ball handling. We talked about him, and Lance Geigel, very physical player inside, averaging 11 points a game for the Braves. Greg Lemke, the head coach of Mandan, in his second year at the helm, a couple of years ago right here in the city of Minot. Head coach of Minot Ryan, state titles for both the girls and boys basketball teams.
Okay, we're going to come back with a tip-off of our second semifinal game between Grand Forks Central and Mandan right after this. Welcome back to the Minot State Dome. Dan Viens, our officials for this evening.
Tim Garrett from Mayville, Greg Johnson from Minot. They have rotated these officials. They have all done a good job, and it'll be a tough decision for Dave Karlsruhe to try and pick up the officials for tomorrow. They advance to the championship game, much like the players do. They got to earn it, and they're evaluated as they go.
This telecast of these tournament games has been authorized by special arrangement with the Board of Directors of the North Dakota High School Activities Association. We are about ready to go. Tremaine Davis will jump it up against Scott Tom, that matchup we told you about just a moment ago. There it is. Davis wins the jump, and Grand Forks Central will control, and Brooks Bollinger brings it up for the Grand Forks Central Knights. Our second semifinal matchup, these guys playing for the right to take on Minot for the title. Shot on by Greg Mask, and he's hacked.
Right off the bat, Grand Forks putting the pressure on. Yesterday, we mentioned that this is, some people believe Grand Forks Central, the most athletic team. They have the best athletes of any of the teams here at the state tournament.
And there's one of them. He ran the football for the Knights very well in the fall, and he controls the ball real well for the Knights during the basketball season, and he makes his first point of the evening on the free throw line. 1-0 Grand Forks Central. Second one up off the rim, rebound by Chad Kincaid. And here come Mandan, dressed in their home blacks tonight. Minneapolis look like they're going with that 2-3 zone right away. Mandan being cautious, moving it around the perimeter. Eric Schmidt cross-court pass to Pullis. Pullis drives the baseline, goes up, won't go. Fight for the rebound. Tipped by Tremaine Davis, and Greg Mass comes up with it. And Bollinger sets up that offense. That's Joe Ford with the ball. You can obviously tell he's got some good moves, but he gets it taken away.
Guarded by Schmidt, as we said, and he's the one that poked the ball away.
Tom had a great night last night, and these guys played their hearts out. Will Mandan be tired from that triple overtime? We'll find out as the game progresses. Into Tom. Inside to Pullis. 44 is Lance Geigel. This is Tom. Turnaround jumper. Won't fall. Goes short. Great rebound by Kincaid. He can't get it. Joe Ford with the rebound. And here come the Knights. 1-0 Central early in this one.
Rebounding should be a key for the Braves. They're not as athletic, not as good a group of jumpers, but can they block out? Can they keep the Knights off the board?
Oh, just about a great tip in by Hoverson. It does not fall, though. And a lot of the Minot crowd sticking around for the second semifinal game. It's a big crowd here at the Minot State Dome.
Eric Schmidt only scored 3 points last night. Look for him to do more scoring, or at least be more assertive tonight. He averages about 12, but last night his main job was to shut down Justin Johnson.
Feet inside. It's Lance Geigel. And there's a whistle underneath. Looks like the foul is going to go against Mandan. Foul is called on number 20. I take that back. Called on 20 for Grand Forks Central, Brooks Bollinger. That's his first personal and first team foul. Each team with one personal foul. And here comes Mandan. Polis with a three-pointer from the baseline. Sam Polis, number 22.
Well, right after the game last night, they asked him if he was tired. He said, I'd like to play another game right now. I'm ready to go. He was the one with the hot hand, and he picks up where he left off.
Greg Mass through the legs, drives the lane into the paint and scores.
Boy, he's so quick. All he did, he got Polis to look the other way for a second. That was all he needed.
This is Lance Geigel on the baseline. Goes off the rim. Big rebound by Tremaine Davis out to Joe Ford. 5:22 to go in the first quarter of our second semifinal. Joe Ford stops and pops. Just like that. 5-3 Grand Forks Central over Mandan.
Well, yesterday in the first quarter against Williston, Joe Ford couldn't miss a thing. Hit a couple of threes, got a big hot hand early, but then got rattled later and really disappeared for a while. We'll see if he can sustain that tonight.
Mandan throws the ball away and gives Grand Forks Central a chance to work on their lead here early in the first. Brooks Bollinger with the ball. Feed inside to Mask on the baseline. Turnaround jumper won't fall. Big rebound by Pullis. And Mandan pushes it up across the timeline.
Now they'll slow it down. Such a well-coached team. They will be very patient on offense. They will not let the other team dictate the tempo.
Pullis, baseline three, won't drop. Greg Mask with the rebound. We're under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Brooks Bollinger from inside the three-point. Won't fall. Big rebound by Eric Schmidt. And he'll bring it across. Knights stay in that zone. 2-3 zone, guard in the middle, obviously, against Tom. And they throw the ball away again. Joe Ford comes up with it, pushes it up to Mass. He's going to slow things down and set up that half-court offense.
Boy, you can't leave him alone. Just absolutely lost Joe Ford. You got to be aware where he is on the floor at all times. He made him pay.
Joe Ford with the three, and it's 8-3, 5-point lead for Central as they throw on the press. Great save! Great save by Mark Hoverson. Greg Mass feeds it to Joe Ford. He goes cross-court to Bollinger. Into the corner, that's Tremaine Davis. In and out, won't go. Fight for the rebound. Little collision, but no whistle. And Eric Schmidt will bring it back again. 5-point lead for Grand Forks Central. Just underway in our second semifinal. Minot, a huge winner over Shanley in our first semifinal game tonight. They'll play for their second straight state title tomorrow night against one of these two teams. Geigel inside to Tom.
Boy, we saw that a couple of times last night. That connection. Lance Geigel really aware at all times of where Scott Tom is on the floor.
This is Hoverson, who is really the blue-collar man yesterday for Grand Forks Central. Fight for the rebound, whistle underneath. And we're going to have a timeout on the floor with 3:17 to go in the opening quarter. Grand Forks Central with a 3-point lead over the Braves. We'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. Welcome back to the Minot State Dome. We were just espousing the virtues of this great save by Hoverson, but watch, look at that. He was out of bounds. Great camera work by our crew here. He was out of bounds. It did not lead to any Grand Forks Central points on that possession. But still, nonetheless, Hoverson was out of bounds. Great athletic play anyway. Central trying to put the ball in play. Tremaine on top to Greg Mass. And he throws a dangerous cross-court pass. It's picked up by Schmidt. He drives the lane and he scores. Eric Schmidt with his first points of the evening, and it's a 1-point game. 8-7 Knights over the Braves.
You know, his stats might not be eye-popping, but I got to believe Eric Schmidt is going to be one of the top returning seniors next year in the Class A in the state of North Dakota. Just an outstanding overall basketball player.
Really works it hard. Feed inside. This is Mark Hoverson off the glass, and it's good. Mark Hoverson, junior, 6'1" forward for the Knights. Knights on that pesky press. They get it to Schmidt. Schmidt throws it up court. And Mandan going to set things up. Mike Auck in the ball game for the Braves. Three-pointer attempt won't fall for Schmidt. Big rebound by Joe Ford, and he'll take it across himself. Overson on the baseline. Thought about it.
Mandan back in that zone. That's what they prefer to play. They were forced to play man a lot last night. But they'll come out and match up on you. It'll look like an aggressive zone.
Perhaps the most balanced team here is the Grand Forks Central Knights. Scoring, rebounding, nice feed inside to Hoverson. Mark Hoverson, number 34, with his second hoop.
Just a textbook way to beat the zone defense. Mass found a seam, penetrated. When they came to get him, he found Hoverson.
Mike Auck won't fall. Rebound by Tom. Foul was called. Central guys are clapping, but I think it's going to be on one of their guys. Yes, it is.
It's on John Hager.
John Hager into the ball game now for Grand Forks Central, obviously. And a couple more substitutions. Chad Kincaid, excuse me, check that. We'll have to check those numbers for Grand Forks Central. Tom gets it outside. That's Polis. Mike Auck on top. Feed inside. And it's knocked away, but it'll be retained by the Mandan Braves.
Tried to get it inside to Shane Avey, the 6'3" junior. He did a tremendous job coming off the bench yesterday against Devil's Lake.
In and out won't go. Rebound Joe Ford.
Tough miss.
Mickey Ely is the gentleman I was looking for Grand Forks Central. Wears number 10 into the ball game. And he's got the ball right now. Good look at Mickey Ely. Cross-court pass to Hoverson. He runs into the gauntlet of Eric Schmidt. They're going to call a blocking foul on him. We'll see that replay, Dan.
Just not quick enough getting over. That's a clear foul. Good call. Eric Schmidt, his first personal foul. Of course, he fouled out yesterday. I'm sorry, that's his second. So already Eric Schmidt in foul trouble.
And Scott Tom sits down on the bench with 1:09 to go. Mandan down by 5. Central a chance to grow that lead. Tremaine Davis with the ball. Gets it on top. This is Brooks Bollinger, only a sophomore.
Greg Limke also sat down Sam Polis. So his two best players in last night's game sitting next to him on the bench as he tries to get another combination in there.
Overson tried to drive the baseline, and another blocking foul called against the Mandan Braves.
Now we're going to have to keep an eye on Eric Schmidt. He's not going to be able to be as assertive on defense as he normally likes to be with 2 fouls.
Shane Avey was called for the hack. It's his first personal foul. 4th team foul already for Mandan as we're at 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. Bollinger trying to work it around.
Mandan back into man-to-man.
Mickey Ely on the baseline. Overson goes into the paint, and there's a whistle underneath. And they're going to call it on Mandan, and that that means that Hoverson's going to go to the free throw line, and already now 5 fouls called on the Mandan Braves. Foul was called on Geigel, his first personal, but again, 5th team foul. And we're going to get a good look at Mark Hoverson. There he is, 67% from the free throw line in the quarterfinals. I don't think I can grow facial hair even now. Hoverson's got a Don Johnson thing going right now already. This is the first one. He'll get another shot. 12-7. Central on top of Mandan. Misses both of those. And with under 40 seconds to go, Mandan going to set up, see if they can't get a little closer before the quarter break.
Polis is back into the game. Schmidt is not. Really the only offensive player they have on the floor is Polis. So if you're Grand Forks Central, you're going to look for him to work his way off a couple of screens, try to free himself up for a three-pointer.
You see the time on your screen.
Here he comes. Baseline coming off the screen. He's open. Out missed him. Polis was open coming off the screen.
Polis gets it back on top. Walk into the corner. Kincaid can't hit the baseline jumper at the buzzer, and so at the end of the first quarter, Grand Forks Central with a 5-point lead over Mandan, 12-7. We'll be back with the second quarter of our second semifinal right after this on the North Dakota NBC Television Network.
And welcome back to the Minot State Dome. I have a very interested spectator here. Came all the way from New Jersey, John Ford, Joe Ford's great uncle. What do you think of the game so far?
I think it's excellent, and we want to keep it going like this, build up this lead, so we can get in this championship tomorrow night.
Long way to come from New Jersey.
Well, sure is, but my brother's daughters are here from Minneapolis. My son's here from Minneapolis. He has a daughter from Milner, so we got all the Fords up here.
And it's been a lot of fun to watch so far.
Oh, it's been great. We just got to keep her going.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. You know, for a guy from New Jersey there, you know, I'm not hearing the New Jersey accent there going here.
Some stats from the first quarter. Mandan shooting just 25% from the floor, 3 of 12. That is the story.
Mandan trying to work it around. Polis puts it up, won't go. Hoverson with the rebound. He gives it up to Greg Mask.
Polis just 1 of 5 from the floor. Now he has 1 3-pointer.
Mask sees the opening in the lane, goes for it. But Scott Tom, who was the stallion on the court for the Braves last night, stops him. And the Braves come back. Chad Kincaid working it around. Gets it to Polis. Little shove there by Scott Tom. Didn't get called. Baseline jumper is good by Lance Geigel. His first points of the game. And it is a 4-point game.
Well, that's one of those shots you go,
Check
no,
that.
no, 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 no. And then when it goes in, you say yes. Not really the part of Lance Geigel's repertoire.
It's a 3-point game. 12-9. Feed inside to Hoverson. Turn around against Tom. And he draws the foul against Scott Tom.
Nice job to draw the foul exactly for Mark Hoverson, because Scott Tom was all over this one. Can't do any more to harass this shot. He ends up with a foul.
So Hoverson goes back to the free throw line. He was 0 for 2 his last time there. He'll get another 2. That one. 1 for 3 from the free throw line. Eric Schmidt back into the ball game, and taking a seat will be Mike Auck for the Mandan Braves. Hoverson having to shoot those free throws into the face of the Mandan student section, and he nails both of them. 2 for 4 from the free throw line. It's a 14-9 lead for Grand Forks Central. By the way, Central in the bonus. Next, oh, it's a great steal by Tremaine Davis. And just like that, it's a 16-9 lead for Mandan. Central is in the bonus. Next foul by Mandan, and they'll start shooting the 1-and-1s.
Eric Schmidt back into the game for the Braves. He is their best ball handler, but he's playing with 2 fouls.
A little pressed by the Knights. Didn't stop Mandan, just slowed him up a little bit. Kincaid with the ball, trying to work it around. Schmidt feeds Tom inside, back out to Schmidt, and they're going to try to set it up. Tried to feed inside to Tom, and Mandan threw it away. They're probably going to have to stop here a second. Mandan is, if they score here, talk it over a little bit. Be a 9-point lead if they hit a 2-pointer here. Turn around to Tremaine, and there it is. 13-9, and there's that timeout we were looking for. 6:12 to go in the first half. Grand Forks Central up on top of Mandan, and we'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. And we're back on the campus of Minot State University in the Minot State Dome, hoping to get a new floor by this summer. I'll tell you about my conversation with the Minot State University Athletic Director in a moment. Meanwhile, back on the other side of the state, the UND Sioux women have defeated South Dakota State University 68-55, and we will do our best to get you a Bison women's score. Defending three-time national champs, hosting the North Central region at the Bison Sports Arena this evening. Mandan.
Let's see what Mandan does. Coming out of the timeout, now trying to get Eric Schmidt involved.
That won't go. Joe Ford with the rebound. And here come Brooks Bollinger and the Knights. Overson drives baseline, gets underneath, decides not to go for it, gives it up to Tremaine. And Tremaine Davis shows us some beautiful touch. And it is 20-9.
Mandan not a real good team at coming back because they don't have many offensive weapons. They've got to keep it close. Great shot from Geigel there. They need to keep this in single digits at halftime.
Could the triple overtime win last night for the Mandan Braves be holding them back tonight? Took 3 overtimes. We got out of here about 11:30 or so. Was that about it?
Something like that.
79-77 in triple overtime. Mandan beating Devils Lake. This afternoon, Devils Lake trouncing Williston, so it looked like the triple overtime didn't bother them. Devils Lake beat Williston 73-59. And Bismarck beat Wahpeton 54-52. Those two teams would play for the consolation championship. And Grand Forks Central with another steal.
Yeah, this is getting away from the Braves.
Joe Ford from the baseline. Holy smokes. It's 24-11. Mandan needs some oxygen or something right now. They are having a tough time getting it going. Scott Thomas on the bench. Feed inside won't go to Shane Avey. And back come the Central Knights. Greg Mask. Joe Ford from 3. Shoots up an air ball. And we're going to take a break. With 4:36 to go in the first half, Grand Forks Central is flexing some muscle. 24-11 over the Mandan Braves. We'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC.
With all
Oh my gosh.
Bet you thought we took our shirts off for a moment, didn't you?
Oh, 223.5. Is that in kilograms or metric tons? I can take my shirt off and I'll look.
Well, that was either
okay.
his weight or his body fat percentage. He's proud of it, though.
Okay, here comes Mandan. They're down huge, 24-11. 13-point lead for the Knights. 4:22 to go in the first half of this second semifinal game. There's a feed inside. Beautiful Shane Avey. Turnaround Jay. Mandan worked their offense to perfection on that play, but they got to score a lot more. Greg Mask. That's going to be a 2-pointer, but a great shot by Greg Mask. He's got 5 points in this contest so far. Mandan breaks the press.
Central was shooting 45%. It's got to be a lot more than that now.
Offensive foul is going to be called, I believe, on, was that Avey? Shane Avey picks up the offensive hack. That is his second personal foul.
Yeah, no doubt about this one. We have seen some real close calls of that nature this week, but that was a no-doubter. Great job from Joe Ford to get over and set himself.
Shane Avey, a big dude, 6'3" junior, sort of the bull in the china shop underneath there, collects the offensive charge. Mandan offering some token resistance on the press. Overson brings it up, just about knocked away by Scott Tom. Tom, an intense competitor. Been hot and cold sometimes, though, during the season, huh?
Well, he matured a lot during the season. kind of a free spirit is Scott Tom, and maybe he had some concentration troubles early in the year, but has really matured and really grown in confidence. Greg Lemke says he's just now starting to figure out how good a basketball player he can be, and it was just in time for the Mandan Braves.
Chad Kincaid collects his second foul for the Mandan Braves, sending Greg Mask to the free throw line as they are in the bonus situation. He'll shoot 1 and 1. Mandan with 18 fouls already. Greg Mask shooting into that student section of Mandan, but he stayed relatively quiet there. Another look at Greg Mask, good-looking 5'10" junior guard. And the Knights have him back next year. How's that for frightening for Eastern Dakota Conference basketball and football teams?
Well, and they have Bollinger and they have Hoverson. Good-looking group of kids coming back next year.
Another foul. This time it's called on number 20, Brooks Bollinger. That's his second personal foul. Third team foul for Grand Forks Central. Eric Schmidt will throw the ball in for the Braves. Schmidt up ahead to Tom. 2 against 3, but Tom goes up anyway. Scott Tom with his second field goal of the game, and it's 28-15. A 13-point lead prevails for the Knights. Mark Hoverson, he loves the baseline. He drives in, and there's another offensive foul.
Well, they're going to give that. That's going to go the other way, so we're even up 1 apiece. But Shane Avey, a little break out the Academy Award here. He just embellished the story a little bit, but still a good foul.
Him and Apollo 13 nominated for several Academy Awards this year.
A little late to get him in on the nomination show, though, as those have already been doled out.
But I think he'll go to the show, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to wear. Kincaid on top to Schmidt. Into Tom, left side. Kincaid drives into the paint, dishes off. Hawk gets it to Schmidt. Back on top to Kincaid. They're trying to figure out this zone defense of the Grand Forks Central Knights. Eric Schmidt on top. 2:44 to go in the first half. 28-15. Central on top of Mandan.
If you're wondering why Mandan's taking so long when they're down 13, it's just because that is their philosophy.
Right
They'll
there.
do it no matter what's happening.
The guy we highlighted before we started the game, Tremaine Davis, starting to control that middle a little bit for Central, and he helps him out with the turnover. Drive to the paint, dishes to Tremaine, knocked out of bounds, and Grand Forks Central will retain possession of the ball. Mickey Ely back in the ballgame for the Grand Forks Central Knights. Back into the game is Sam Pullis for Mandan.
We got a good look at Greg Lemke there. Of course, he played his college basketball here at Minot State University, also an all-conference outfielder for the baseball team.
Nice dish to Hoverson. He goes up, it won't fall, follows his shot. That won't go, and Scott Tom's there for the rebound. He gets to Eric Schmidt, and with just about 2 minutes to go, as you see on your screen, Mandan trying to get on the board. They're down by 13.
Well, right now they got to chip away at this one bucket at a time. They're down by 13. I said they needed to get into halftime in single digits. They can do that. But 2 minutes left. They need to take 3-4 points off this Central lead.
Great turnaround jumper by Shane Avey. He's got 4 points. We're under 2 minutes. 28-17 now. 11-point lead for Grand Forks Central. Greg Mask has the ball. Mandan in their zone. Feed inside to Tremaine. Back out to Mask. Mask feeds inside. Is that Hoverson down there? Fight for the ball. It'll be a jump. And Central will retain it with the possession arrow. First contest this evening, Minot all over Fargo-Shanley, 68-52. Minot will play for their second straight state championship tomorrow night. Joe Ford.
Well, the Braves have done a much better job on Joe Ford since his opening flurry.
And they get the steal and the turnover, and they push it up the floor. Eric Schmidt. Pullis. Schmidt playing catch. Thought about the three. Gets it on top to Kincaid. Chad Kincaid, 5'11" junior guard. Playing tough against Mickey Ely. Baseline jumper by Pullis won't go. Air ball picked up by Joe Ford. And Joe brings it up. We're at 48 seconds to go. Joe Ford, three-pointer from the top, won't fall. Rebound by Schmidt. He's on the fast break. 2-on-1. Knocked away by Greg Mass, but recovered by Pullis. What a great play by Pullis. Kept his concentration on the ball the whole way, and Pullis with his first two-pointer.
Well, good effort does not always bring you rewards. That time, great hustle from Greg Mass to run down the ball and slap it away from Eric Schmidt. Give Greg Mass the assist. He knocked it right to Pullis.
Mandan with a 9-point deficit. Central is going to obviously go for the last shot. Mandan crept back into it. They were down by 13. Now 5-4. Shot up. Foul's called, and a silly fall on Scott Tom. He picks up his second personal.
Yeah, guarding a kid who hasn't played much in this tournament. Not a lot of experience. The 5'10 junior, Mickey Ely. And
Mickey gets him to leave his feet, and he commits the foul. That one might come back to haunt Scott Tom. And a good look at Mickey Ely, a 5'10 junior guard. Tom's going to sit down with the final 4 seconds of this game, or the first half rather. And lumbering back into the contest for Mandan is Lance Geigel. Shane Avey will sit down. Mickey won't hit the first one. The Mick. Mickey Ely, his second one. That one goes down. 29-19, 10-point lead. 4 seconds to go. Mandan in. They get it up ahead. This is Chad Kincaid at the buzzer. Won't go. And so at the half, Grand Forks Central well in control of this first half with a 10-point lead, 29-19 over the Mandan Braves. And Dennis Wyman is standing by with Grand Forks Central coach Todd Olson.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Todd, seemed like you really established the tempo you wanted there in the first half.
Yeah, we were able to make it a full-court game, and that's what we wanted to do. We got a little stagnant again at the end of the half offensively. We got to pick that back up if we're going to have a good second half.
10-point lead as you go into the break. What do you tell the kids at the half?
Well, we got to defensively continue doing what we're doing. Offensively, just do things better. We aren't setting good screens. We aren't cutting hard. We got to do some things better on that end.
All right. Good. Thanks a lot, Coach. Guys?
Thanks a lot, Dennis. Stick around. Coming up, the North Dakota Farmers Union Insurance halftime report. We're going to see some gymnastics. We'll have your halftime stats and more. Stick around. We'll be back with more on the North Dakota NBC Television Network. Dan Vienne is going to take us through our halftime stats.
Yeah, you look at the team stats. Grand Forks Central shooting very well from the floor, 50% compared to 39% from Mandan. Also, 6 points at the free throw line for a 10-point lead. Mandan is yet to go. Only 4 fouls in the first half by the Knights, and they have done a good job taking care of the basketball. Only 4 turnovers, 8 for the Braves. That's telling as well. Individual scoring for Grand Forks Central. Boy, we talk about balance. You can see it there. Hoverson, Ford, and Mask all involved in the offense. Mandan, Polis with 5 points, Scott Tom with 4. You do not see Eric Schmidt's name there again. Foul trouble once again. Had to go to the bench early. Only scored 2. But Mandan has to feel fortunate. I talked about getting it into single digits. They've got to feel fortunate to be down just 10, because that was the worst half of basketball they've played throughout the regional and the state tournament here in the last couple of weeks, whereas the Knights had a couple of runs. They weathered those, and the first couple of minutes will be real telling here in the second half to see if the Braves can get back into this one.
And what you're looking at is the Mandan High School students waiting patiently for their Mandan Braves to return to the floor.
Paving the way for them, perhaps, to a better second half performance. And, you know, if you think the magic has run out for the Mandan Braves, I think at this point there is no Cinderella. The Mandan Braves absolutely have proven that they belong here. It's just a matter of Grand Forks has played a better first half.
Mandan, the only team in the tournament with a losing record, but talking to their coach before the tournament started on Wednesday or Thursday, he said we're gelling at the right time. You throw out the records, they don't really matter at this point.
Well, to put it in perspective, the only way that Mandan could finish this season with the winning record is to win the state championship.
Isn't that incredible?
Anything less, and they will have a losing record.
That's right. So if they win tonight, if they come back and beat Grand Forks Central, their record will go to 500. They'll go to 12-12 on the season. up the half in Fargo at the women's North Central Regional. Check it out. North Dakota State University going toe-to-toe with Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. The women with a 1-point lead. Amy Rulli just the other day named the North Central Conference Coach of the Year. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with the second half of Grand Forks Central and Mandan right after these messages.